glad you've come in today. It's wonderful to meet you. Please, make yourself comfortable. This is a safe space, just for you. How are you feeling right now? It's completely okay to share, or if you prefer, to just relax and listen. I want you to know that everything we discuss here stays between us. This is your time to unwind and open up, free from any outside worries. Think of this as a gentle pause in your day, a moment just for you. Let's start with something simple. Can you tell me a little about what brought you here today? There's no rush. Take all the time you need. I'm here to listen. It's completely normal to feel a bit nervous if this is your first session, or even if you've been to therapy before. Many people feel that way. I'm here to support you, not to judge. We'll go at whatever pace feels right for you. Today, we can talk about anything that's on your mind, or if you prefer, you can just share how your day has been. Sometimes, starting with the small things can make the bigger things feel a bit more manageable. Whenever you're ready, feel free to share. I'm here, ready to listen and help you through your journey. Remember, this is your time to heal, to explore, and to grow at your own pace. Thank you for sharing that with me. It's really important to take that first step and acknowledge how you're feeling. Now, let's dive a little deeper. How has your week been overall? I'm curious about what your days look like. What's been occupying your time and mind? It sounds like you've had quite a lot on your plate. Handling multiple responsibilities can certainly be overwhelming. How do you typically manage these busy days? What helps you cope? I see. Using those strategies can be very helpful, but sometimes even the best methods need a little adjustment based on what life throws our way. Have there been moments this week when you felt that your usual coping mechanisms weren't working as well as they might? It's completely normal for that to happen. Let's talk about those moments of stress a bit more. You mentioned feeling overwhelmed. Can you describe what triggers this feeling? Maybe it's a specific time of day, a certain task, or perhaps interactions with a particular person. Understanding our triggers is a powerful step towards managing them better. By identifying them, we can start to work on strategies to either avoid or confront them in healthier ways. What do you think might be a small step you could take when you start feeling overwhelmed? That's a good approach. Small steps are often the best way to make lasting changes. Now, aside from these overwhelming moments, are there parts of your day that you look forward to? It could be something as simple as a morning cup of coffee, a walk, or the time spent on a hobby. What brings you joy? It's wonderful to hear that those moments bring you happiness. Focusing on small pleasures is key to building a more fulfilling day-to-day life. Let's think about how we might increase those moments. Do you think there could be room to incorporate more of what you love into your routine? I'm glad to hear you're open to that idea. Now, reflecting on the times you've been successful in managing stress, can you think of a day or an instance that went really well? What was different about that day? How did you feel, and what strategies did you use? That's an excellent observation. Building on successful experiences can boost your confidence and help you feel more in control. Now, shifting our focus slightly, how have your interactions with others been affecting you? Sometimes, our relationships can play a significant role in how we feel about ourselves and our lives. Relationships can indeed be complex. It's clear you've been reflecting a lot on this. How do you feel after these interactions? Drained? Energized? Maybe a bit of both. Recognizing how they affect your energy levels can be enlightening. It's great that you can identify how these interactions affect you. Knowing this, how manage your time and energy with these people moving forward? Are there boundaries you might want to set or conversations you might want to have? These are all important aspects to consider, and it's perfectly okay to take your time figuring them out. Setting boundaries is not always easy, but it's a crucial step towards self-care and maintaining your mental well-being. You're doing incredibly well at navigating these conversations. It's a testament to your strength and your commitment to your well-being. Let's continue to explore these themes and think about what other support structures you might find helpful. Remember, this journey is about progress, not perfection. Thank you for opening up about those aspects of your daily interactions. Now, let's take a moment to look a little deeper into your emotions. This part of our session is about exploring not just the what, but the why. Why do certain situations make you feel a particular way? Understanding this can be very empowering. I noticed earlier you mentioned a feeling of being overwhelmed when certain expectations are not met, either by yourself or by others. Let's explore that a bit. Can you recall a specific instance where this feeling was particularly strong? What exactly was happening around you? That's a very insightful example. Thank you for sharing that. When you found yourself in that situation, what emotions surfaced? Sometimes, identifying the emotions can help us trace them back to their roots. Was it anxiety, frustration, disappointment, or perhaps something else? Understanding these emotions is like peeling an onion. There are layers to it, and sometimes it might even bring tears, but it's all part of the process towards healing. Now, considering these emotions, let's try to connect them to your earlier experiences. Do you see any patterns or recurring themes from your past that might be influencing how you react today? It's completely okay if making these connections seems challenging. Sometimes these patterns are not immediately obvious. What's important is your willingness to explore them. Let's take one of those emotions, say frustration, and think about what thoughts accompany it. What goes through your mind when you start to feel this way? Those thoughts can be quite revealing, can't they? They often reflect deeper beliefs or fears. For example, believing that I must always meet all expectations can certainly be a source of frustration when things don't go as planned. Do you feel that this belief might be putting extra pressure on you? Let's think about how we can gently challenge these beliefs. It's not about dismissing them, but questioning their validity and helpfulness in your life. For instance, what might be a more balanced or compassionate way to view yourself when expectations aren't met? Exploring these alternatives is like adjusting the lens through which you see yourself and the world. It can significantly change how you feel and react. Now, how do you think applying a more compassionate lens might change your reaction in future situations, similar to the one you described? I'm glad to hear you think it might help. Applying compassion towards oneself is not an easy task, but it is a powerful one. Now, let's shift our focus slightly. Can you think of a time when you successfully applied a more compassionate approach? How did that feel compared to the times when you were harsher on yourself? Seeing this contrast can be very motivating, can't it? It shows that you have the ability to control your narrative and your reactions. It's about practicing and strengthening this ability like a muscle. Each time you choose compassion over criticism, you are building your emotional resilience. I appreciate how openly you're engaging with these reflections. It's not easy to examine our emotions and thoughts so closely. As we continue, remember that this is a process, and it's perfectly okay to feel uncomfortable at times. It's all part of growing and learning about yourself. Before we move on, is there anything else about these feelings or thoughts you would like to explore further today, I'm here to support you through this journey, every step of the way. Now that we've explored some of your emotional responses and the thoughts that accompany them, let's consider some ways to manage these feelings more effectively. There are several strategies we can try, and today I'd like to introduce a few that might resonate with you. Let's start with mindfulness. Are you familiar with this practice? Mindfulness is about being present in the moment, observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment. It can be a powerful tool for managing stress and emotional overwhelm. Let's try a simple exercise right now, just briefly, to see how it feels. I'd like you to take a slow, deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and then exhale slowly. As you do this, try to focus only on your breathing. How did that feel? Sometimes, just taking a moment to breathe can help us create a space between our feelings and our reactions. This space allows us to choose how we respond, rather than being swept away by our immediate emotions. Another strategy we might explore is cognitive reframing. This involves changing the way we interpret events, shifting our perspective to a more positive or realistic one. Let's apply this to an example you mentioned earlier. You felt overwhelmed when a project at work didn't go as planned. Can you think of a different way to view this situation that might reduce your stress? That's a good start. By viewing the situation as a learning opportunity rather than a failure, you can change your emotional response to it. This doesn't happen overnight, of course, but with practice you can start to apply this more automatically. It's all about training your mind to think differently. Now, let's talk about another method called behavioural activation. This is particularly useful when we feel low or unmotivated. It involves doing small activities that can lift our mood or energy levels, even if it's something very simple. What's a small activity you enjoy that you think could help you during those low moments? That sounds perfect. Incorporating more of that activity into your routine can be a very effective way to improve your mood. It's about taking small steps, and each step can lead to significant changes over time. Combining these strategies, mindfulness, cognitive reframing, and behavioural activation, can be very effective. But remember, it's important to approach this process with patience. These are skills that need to be practiced and developed over time. How do you feel about these strategies? Do they seem like something you could see yourself using? I'm here to help tailor these approaches to your specific needs and preferences, so any feedback you have is invaluable. I'm glad to hear you're open to trying them. Let's plan to focus on these techniques for the next few weeks. We can start slowly, introducing one strategy at a time, and you can monitor how each affects your mood and stress levels. It's like conducting a personal experiment where the goal is to find out what works best for you. As we continue our sessions, we'll review your progress and adjust as needed. It's all about finding the right balance and the techniques that resonate most with you. Remember, you're not alone in this. I'm here to guide and support you through each step. Before we end today, do you have any questions about what we've discussed? Or is there anything else on your mind that you'd like to talk about? I'm here to listen and help in any way I can. Today, we've talked about some powerful strategies to manage stress and enhance your emotional well-being. Now, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on your strengths, the qualities that you've shown throughout our sessions that are truly commendable. One of the things I've noticed is your resilience. You've faced challenges, yet you continue to seek ways to grow and improve. How does it feel to recognize this strength in yourself? It's important to acknowledge and celebrate these qualities. Recognizing your own strengths can be a source of motivation and can help build your self-esteem. another strength I've observed, your openness. You've been willing to explore new ideas and consider different perspectives, which is a vital part of personal growth. Can you think of a time recently when being open helped you in a difficult situation? That's a perfect example. Openness can indeed transform challenging moments into opportunities for learning and development. Now, as we build on these strengths, let's also talk about resilience more specifically. Resilience isn't about never feeling down or stressed. It's about bouncing back from those feelings. What are some ways you've bounced back in the past? This could include actions you took or thoughts you had that helped you recover. Those strategies you've mentioned are excellent. Let's think about how we can further enhance them. For example, if connecting with friends has helped, perhaps we can think about how to regularly incorporate social time into your week. Or if certain thoughts have uplifted you, maybe we can create a list of affirmations based on those thoughts. Speaking of affirmations, they can be a wonderful tool for building resilience. Affirmations are positive, empowering statements that you can tell yourself during challenging times. They help reframe your mindset and combat negative or self-doubting thoughts. Let's try creating a few affirmations together. Think about a belief that would empower you when you're feeling low. For instance, you might say, "I am capable of handling whatever comes my way." What's an affirmation that resonates with you? That's a powerful affirmation. I encourage you to say it to yourself, especially during times of stress or uncertainty. Writing it down and placing it somewhere you can see it daily might also be helpful. Now, let's explore another resilience building technique: setting realistic goals. Goals give us direction and a sense of purpose. Can you think of a small, achievable goal you'd like to set for yourself this week? Setting such a specific and reachable goal is perfect. Achieving it can boost your confidence and help maintain your momentum. Each small success builds upon the last, reinforcing your belief in your own abilities. As we continue to work together, we'll keep building on these goals, expanding them as you grow more confident and resilient. Every step you take is a part of your journey towards a healthier, more fulfilling life. Remember, growth is a process, and every small step is an important part of that process. Before we conclude today, I want to reiterate how pleased I am with the work you're doing. It's not easy to face our challenges head on, but you're doing it with courage and determination. How are you feeling about your journey and the strategies we've discussed today? Thank you for sharing that. It's great to hear you're feeling optimistic and ready to continue this work. Always remember, I'm here to support you, and together we can adjust the strategies as needed to best support your growth. Looking forward to our next session. We'll review your progress and celebrate your successes, no matter how big or small. Each session is a step forward, and I'm honoured to accompany you on this path. As we begin to wrap up today's session, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on the ground we've covered together. We've explored some deep emotional territories and introduced several strategies that can aid you in managing stress and enhancing your well-being. How are you feeling right now about the things we've discussed today? It's perfectly normal to feel a mix of emotions after such a deep session, perhaps a sense of relief, or even a little fatigue from the emotional work. Both are completely natural responses. Remember, each session is a step towards understanding yourself better and building the life you want. Before we part today, let's set some intentions for the time until we meet again. Based on what we've discussed, what are one or two things you'd like to focus on? These could be practicing the mindfulness exercises, using the cognitive reframing techniques, or perhaps setting a aside time each day for an activity that brings you joy. Those sound like excellent focuses. By setting these intentions, you're committing to continue your work outside of our sessions, which is a key part of making lasting changes. Now, I encourage you to keep a journal of your experiences with these practices. Writing down your thoughts can help you see your progress more clearly and will be a great tool for us to use together in future sessions. Also, think about any challenges you might encounter in implementing these practices. It's okay to acknowledge that some days might be harder than others. What's important is how you handle those challenges. Do you feel prepared to face them, or are there areas where you might need more support? If you find that you're struggling, remember that it's not a step back, but rather a part of the journey. Each challenge is an opportunity to learn more about yourself and adjust your strategies accordingly. And remember, I'm here to help you through those moments. As we look forward to our next session, I'd like us to continue focusing on the techniques we've discussed today. I'm also interested in hearing about any insights you gain from your journaling. Sharing these insights can be very powerful and can guide our future sessions. Finally, I want to express my gratitude for your trust and openness in sharing your thoughts and feelings with me today. It's a privilege to be a part of your journey towards greater well-being. How are you feeling about our next steps? That sounds like a solid plan. I'm looking forward to seeing how you apply what we've discussed and hearing about your experiences. Remember, this is a process, and each step, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. You're doing incredibly well, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. Thank you again for today. Until next time, take care of yourself, and don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything or have any questions. I'm here for you, and I'm eager to continue this journey with you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.